Ever wondered what drives the Ferengi, one of the most capitalist societies in the Star Trek universe? Their secret, the rules of acquisition. Imagine an entire civilization operating under a code, a set of guidelines purely designed to maximize profit and financial gain. The Ferengi, with their large, sensitive ears and sharp teeth, live by these 285 rules, each one a testament to their unwavering dedication to commerce and trade. These rules aren't just business strategies, they're a way of life, shaping everything from social interactions to moral decisions. They're ruthless, they're cunning, and they're undeniably effective.
To ensure a fair and honest deal for all parties concerned. Well, most of them anyway.
The Ferengi Rules of Acquisition are a fascinating glimpse into a society where profit is the ultimate goal, where every decision is a calculated move in the grand game of commerce. Intrigued? Let's dive into 5 of the most fascinating rules that govern the Ferengi way of life. Rule 1.
Once you have their money, you never give it back.
Exactly.
Sounds harsh, doesn't it? But let's dive right in. This rule is the cornerstone of Ferengi commerce, stark in its simplicity and chilling in its implications. It's all about the acquisition and retention of wealth with no room for refunds or exchanges. Once the transaction is done, it's done. The customer satisfaction, their rights, their complaints, they're all secondary to the bottom line. Now you might be thinking, this can't possibly reflect real-world business practices, right? But let's look a little closer. Underneath the customer-friendly slogans and glossy advertisements, isn't there a hint of this rule lurking in the shadows of our own world? For instance, consider those businesses that make it notoriously difficult for customers to cancel subscriptions or services, or the ones that bury important details in the fine print, hoping that customers won't notice until it's too late. Or how about those companies that offer no refunds, only store credit, effectively ensuring that the customer's money remains within their ecosystem? This rule, in essence, is a stark representation of unbridled capitalism, where the pursuit of profit trumps all other considerations. It's a world where businesses operate with an unwavering focus on the bottom line, often at the expense of consumers. But it's important to remember that not all businesses operate this way. Many companies understand that long-term success requires more than just a relentless pursuit of profit. It requires building relationships with customers, providing high-quality products or services, and operating with integrity.
Did you understand a word of that?
Our universal translators must be malfunctioning.
However, the existence of Rule 1 is a reminder of the potential dangers that lurk in the shadows of commerce. It serves as a warning of what can happen when the scales of capitalism tip too far in favor of profit over people, when the relentless pursuit of wealth becomes the sole guiding principle of business. This rule encapsulates the dark side of capitalism, where the focus is on profit, not people. Next up, Rule 34.
Peace is good for business.
That's the 35th rule.
Oh, you're right. What's the 34th?
War is good for business. It's easy to get them confused.
Quite a controversial one, isn't it? This rule, rather blunt in its delivery, is a stark statement about the profitability of conflict. It's a heavy topic, but let's dive in. In the Star Trek universe, the Ferengi see war not as a devastating force, but as a lucrative opportunity. They capitalize on the chaos, supplying both sides with whatever they need to keep the conflict going. The longer the war, the better their bottom line. Now let's bring this back to our own galaxy. The concept isn't too far from the reality of the military-industrial complex, a cornerstone of many real-world economies. This term, first coined by President Eisenhower, refers to the close relationship between a nation's military leadership and the industries that support it. It's a symbiotic relationship, where conflict often equates to profit. Just like in the Ferengi's Rule 34, war can be good for business, but at what cost? When profit is derived from conflict, it can lead to a cycle where war is perpetuated not for the greater good, but for the financial gain of a select few. A rule that highlights how conflict can be manipulated for profit, a chilling reminder of unregulated capitalism. Rule 59.
Free advice is seldom cheap.
A rule that warns against the hidden costs of free. It's a forewarning that echoes through the cosmos, a cautionary tale for those who believe in the illusion of free lunch. This rule carries a profound significance, particularly in our digital age. Consider the free services offered by tech giants. Search engines, social media platforms, email services, they all come without a price tag, or so it seems. But are they truly free? Or are we paying with something far more valuable than money? Let's delve into this. When we use these free services, we're often trading our privacy, our personal data, our behavior, our preferences. They all become commodities. These tech giants then mine this data, analyze it, and sell it to the highest bidder. To advertisers, to marketers, to whoever is willing to pay for a sneak peek into our digital lives. It's a barter system where our personal information becomes the currency. We're not customers anymore, we're the product. The illusion of free is shattered, replaced by the reality of paid, not with money, but with our privacy. So Rule 59 isn't just a Ferengi principle, it's a universal truth, a stark reminder that in capitalism, nothing is truly free. Rule 239.
Never be afraid to mislabel a product.
This rule might sound a little too familiar, right? It's a witty yet cynical remark on the way products are often marketed in the real world. The Ferengi, ever the savvy businessmen, are not above using a bit of misdirection to make a sale. But let's get something straight. This isn't about selling a tribble as a purring, hypoallergenic pet. No, it's about the art of persuasion, the power of branding, and the allure of a well-crafted narrative. Consider your favorite brand of replicated coffee. Is it really the best cup of coffee in the galaxy?
Coffee black.
Make it yourself.
Or have you bought into the story of exotic hand-picked beans, lovingly processed by a master roaster with decades of experience?
It's just a little advertisement.
It's not necessarily a lie, but it's certainly a stretch of the truth. Mislabeling can also be a matter of perception. Take, for instance, a simple product labeled as artisanal. What does that even mean? Is it handcrafted? Is it made in small batches? Or is it just a clever marketing term to justify a higher price tag? The beauty, or perhaps the devilry of this rule lies in its vagueness. And let's not forget about those green products. Are they truly environmentally friendly, or is it just greenwashing? A fancy label, a few buzzwords, and voila, you've got yourself a green product. But here's the kicker. The real danger of this rule isn't in its application, but in its acceptance. We've become so accustomed to these marketing tactics that we rarely question them. We accept the mislabeling, the exaggerations, the half-truths. We buy into the narrative spun around us, often without a second thought.
You see? It's an earth drink. Prune juice.
Warrior's drink.
This rule exposes the unethical practices that can thrive in an unregulated capitalist system. It's a stark reminder of the need for regulations to keep corporations honest and for consumers to stay vigilant. Because in a world where Rule 239 is the norm, the line between fiction and reality can become dangerously blurred. Finally, Rule 285.
No good deed ever goes unpunished.
A cynical view of kindness, don't you think? This rule implies that acts of generosity or goodwill often lead to unforeseen consequences, a sentiment that could easily be applied to the cutthroat world of business. It suggests that in the pursuit of profit, showing kindness could be seen as a sign of weakness, potentially inviting exploitation by competitors. This is a reflection of the harsh realities of competition in capitalist societies, where companies are in a constant race to outperform each other. But let's not forget, this rule is part of the Ferengi philosophy, a fictional culture from the Star Trek universe known for their mercantile and profit-oriented nature. Their rules, while entertaining, are an exaggerated mirror to our own societies, inviting us to reflect on our values and practices, a rule that reflects the often ruthless nature of business. As we've seen, the Ferengi Rules of Acquisition provide a stark, exaggerated view of unregulated capitalism. These rules, though fictional and exaggerated, serve to illuminate some of the very real pitfalls of a system without checks and balances. Take Rule 34, war is good for business, for example. In a system of unregulated capitalism, businesses may exploit conflicts for profit without concern for the societal or environmental damage they may cause. Similarly, Rule 239, never be afraid to mislabel a product, highlights the potential for deceptive marketing practices in a world where profit is the sole motivator. The Ferengi Rules serve as a mirror, reflecting some of the worst aspects of our own economic system back at us. They underline the potential dangers of a system driven solely by the pursuit of profit, without any regard for ethical considerations or societal good.
Whatever happened to pure, unadulterated greed?
It serves as a warning, reminding us of the need for ethical business practices and regulations to prevent exploitation. While the Ferengi Rules of Acquisition are fictional, the issues they highlight are very real. They underscore the need for ethical business practices and remind us that unchecked capitalism can lead to exploitation. It's crucial to remember that regulations exist to protect, not hinder.
This Congress of Economic Meddlers actually passed legislation making monopolies illegal? What's the point of being in business if you can't corner the market?
They ensure fairness, promote competition, and prevent abuses of power. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more such content.